why the rich own nothing, and how you can protect yourself too. Let me ask you something. If you got sued tomorrow, how safe would your assets be? Your house, your car, your bank account, your investments, even your future income. Could someone take them all away? Now here's the thing. The wealthy? They've already answered that question, and their answer is brilliant. Own nothing, control everything. Sounds like a riddle, right? But it's not. It's a mindset, a strategy, a way of life. Today, I'm going to show you exactly how the rich protect their money, their property, and even their peace of mind through one simple rule. Don't own anything in your name. And before you roll your eyes, thinking, well, I'm not rich, this doesn't apply to me, just wait, because whether you're just starting out with a job and a car, or you've got rental properties, stocks, and a growing business, this strategy can protect your future and your family. Let me tell you a story. Story but one. The teacher who lost everything. A friend of mine, let's call her Sarah, was a high school teacher in Arizona. Nothing fancy, just a hard-working woman who saved every dollar she could. She had a modest house, a used Honda, and a rental duplex she'd bought to start building passive income. One Saturday, she was driving to her nephew's soccer game when her foot slipped off the brake at a red light. She rolled into the intersection and T-boned another car. The other driver? A self-employed contractor who suffered neck injuries, missed months of work, ended up suing. Sarah thought her car insurance would handle it. She had the standard coverage. But when the medical bills and lost wages piled up, her policy wasn't enough. The lawyers came after her personally, her home, her rental property, even her bank account, because everything she owned was in her name. And just like that, years of hard work were on the line. Why the rich own nothing? Imagine if Sarah had owned nothing. On paper, same house, same car, same rental property, but instead of her personal name, her assets were owned by LLCs, trusts, and separate entities. What happens when the lawsuit hits? The lawyers check her name, and they find nothing. No house, no rental property, no bank accounts in her name. Suddenly, Sarah's not worth pursuing. Why? Because you can't sue someone who looks broke, even if they control millions behind the scenes. That's the game the rich play. And now, so can you. The two-layer protection strategy. Here's something most wealthy people understand that others often overlook. True asset protection requires two layers of defense. Layer one, insurance. Your bulletproof vest. This is your first line of defense, the outer layer that absorbs the initial impact. Just like a vest protects your chest, insurance is designed to take the first hit if something goes wrong. You probably already have this layer in place. Car insurance, homeowners or renters insurance, health insurance, maybe even an umbrella liability policy. That's a solid start. But here's the issue. Insurance has limits. Every policy has a maximum coverage amount. Let's say someone sues you for $800,000 after a car accident, and your auto policy only covers up to $300,000. That remaining $500,000, that's coming out of your pocket, unless you have a second line of defense. Layer two, entity structuring, your legal wall. This is where the real protection kicks in. If insurance is the vest, entity structuring is the wall you hide behind if the vest fails. It's your backup plan, the strategy that prevents one legal issue from taking down your entire financial life. This second layer includes tools like LLCs, limited liability companies, corporations, trusts, family limited partnerships. These legal structures can separate your personal assets from your business or investment assets, so if something goes wrong, like a tenant slips on your rental property stairs, the lawsuit stops at the LLC. Your house, your savings, your personal bank account, untouchable. Here's the problem. Most people only have layer one. They trust their insurance to protect them, and they hope that nothing major ever happens. But hope is not a strategy. especially in a world where lawsuits can come out of nowhere and spiral out of control quickly. Meanwhile, the wealthy think differently. They assume that if something can go wrong, eventually it will. So they don't just get insurance. They layer their protection. They use trusts to shield family wealth, LLCs to own investment properties, and corporations to separate liability from their personal lives. They build a second wall, not because they're paranoid, but because they're prepared. Insurance traps and the salesman game. Let's talk about insurance for a second. How do most people shop for it? Be honest. Have you ever bought a policy because it was the cheapest? That commercial that said, save 15% or more? Sound familiar? Yeah, that's most of us. We buy based on price, but here's the trap. Lower premiums usually mean lower coverage. And get this, many insurance agents aren't even working for you. They work for the insurance company. Their job? To protect the company's interests, not yours. So the fine print matters, because you might think you're covered until you're not. And that's when you'll wish you had that second layer, entity structure 101. It all starts with one simple step. Stop owning things in your name. If you have a rental property, put it in an LLC, a business, run it through a separate entity, multiple properties, consider a separate LLC for each, or group them by risk. The goal is simple: isolate liability. If something goes wrong with one asset, the others stay protected, because when lawyers come knocking, they can only touch what's inside the entity, not what's outside of it. Story number 2, the landlord's nightmare. Let me give you another example. Marcus, a part-time real estate investor in Texas, had 5 rental homes, all in one LLC. One day, a tenant in property number 3 slipped in the bathroom, broke her hip, and sued. Guess what? Because all 5 properties were in the same LLC, the equity in every property was now on the table. One slip, 5 properties at risk. That's why more experienced investors might use a separate LLC for each property, or at least divide them into groups. Yes, it costs more. Yes, it's a little more paperwork, but how much is your entire portfolio worth? Real talk. What if you have no assets yet? Okay, now you might be thinking, what if I don't have assets yet? I rent, I don't own much, why bother? Here's the truth. Even if you have nothing today, you still have something valuable, your future income. Lawsuits don't just go after what you have now. They can chase your wages, your bank accounts, even future investments for years. In most states, a judgment lasts 10 years and can be renewed for another 10. So unless you plan on never having a job again, you need protection. The biggest mistake people make. One of the biggest mistakes I see, people go through the trouble of setting up an LLC and then forget to transfer the asset into it. Setting up the LLC is just the first step. You have to legally transfer ownership through a recorded title change, a deed or assignment, depending on the asset. If your name is still on the title, guess what? You still own it, and it's still vulnerable. What about your car? Here's another common question. Should I put my car in an LLC? Short answer, probably not worth it, unless it's a collector car or used for business. Here's why. In an accident, 2 parties are liable, the owner of the vehicle and the driver. If you're the one driving, you're personally responsible anyway, so an LLC won't shield you there. Your best protection: max out your auto insurance and add an umbrella policy if you can. How many properties per LLC? This one comes up all the time. Should I put all my rentals in one LLC or separate them? Here's the rule of thumb. If the properties are small, low risk or have low equity, you might group 2 to 3 together. If they're high value or risky, 1 property per LLC is safest. Just remember, everything inside the LLC is exposed. So ask yourself, if one property gets sued, are you okay risking the others? It's a balance between cost and protection, judgment-proofing your life. Let's tie this all together. If you're serious about protecting your wealth, whether you're just starting or building your empire, here's your roadmap. Maximize your insurance. Don't go cheap. Protect yourself up front. 2. Use LLCs and entities to hold assets, homes, rentals, businesses, vehicles if needed. Structure them smart. 3. Don't own anything in your personal name. If someone sues you, there should be nothing there to take. 4. Keep your structure updated. Revisit it as you grow. What worked with one property might not work with 10-5. Get professional help. Hire a CPA or attorney who knows asset protection. It's worth every dollar. So, what do you own? More importantly, what do you own in your name? Because if you want to play the game like the wealthy, you've got to think like them. Own nothing. Control everything. It's not just a strategy. It's protection. It's peace of mind. And it's how you keep what's yours, yours. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't for more tips. See you in the next one.